Hello again to Summit Live. We are coming to you from Summit International Flooring, our headquarters in Whippany, New Jersey. My name is David Numark. I am the president of Summit International Flooring, and co-hosting with me today is Marc Becker. Hello, Marc.
Hello.
Marc is our national sales director, and of course, as always, we have our little pooch, our mascot Rocco, who is with us. He generally tends to take over the show at some point in time during the day. We welcome you. As I said, we have a very, very special guest today. We have Cuoco Black of Cuoco Black Design. He is not your average gym designer. He is different. I have been a fan of his for years. I have followed him on Instagram and other platforms for a long time. I am very, very pleased to introduce Cuoco. Cuoco, are you there?
I am here. Thank you for having me on your show. I want to make sure I look pretty.
You definitely look pretty. You always look pretty.
I checked my hair right before we went on air.
Yeah,
we look great.
You know, I said to you before when we were speaking about an hour ago that don't worry, I'm going to change my shirt. I'm going to wear, I normally Alan Smith, who is our director, who you've met. He's working behind the board today. He has always said to me to wear a solid color so, you don't see any distortion in your shirt. But you know what? I'm getting so comfortable with what I am. And this show, it's becoming very, very easy. And I am who I am, and I'm wearing what I am. And Marc is wearing his casual shirt. When we first started the show, 11 or 12 weeks ago, we were all decked out and dressed up and buttoned up. And it's just not who we are. This, in fact, the fact that I even shaved today is news. Anyway, Cuoco, welcome. We have a lot to talk about. You are not the typical commercial gym designer. We are very curious to know the state of the industry, where it is today as you see it.
Well, there's two states of industry. It's what the media tells you, and it's what you want to project to the industry. So I'll give you an example. Fitness editorial, on top of all other editorial, global scale, is saying that gyms are finished. The new normal, gyms will never be the same again. And it went on, it kept going on. When this first started, about, let's say, 3 months or so, and I was watching on LinkedIn. I have a big following on LinkedIn. I was watching all this information coming at the fitness industry. And I'm a brick and mortars guy, and I have more ponies in the race. So I'm not just brick and mortars. I have other things I'm working on. And so I kept seeing all this information coming in that, this dystopian future for the gyms, they're finished, so on and so forth. And after 2 months of it, I saw all of my colleagues in my network in distress. And I finally said, you know what? And I put a post up on LinkedIn. I said, who defines what the new normal is? And I said, as a matter of fact, it's my impression that brick and mortar gyms are going to come back, and they're going to be more powerful than they were ever before the lockdown. And the reason that it is that people have seen that illness and being out of shape and not conditioned, and your immune systems made them susceptible to some of these sort of flu-like conditions, if you will. Yeah. And so when I put this post on that brick and mortars is going to become more stronger than it ever was before, I had over 24,000 views and over 500 comments. And I usually get 100 or something of that nature, maybe a couple of thousand, but I got 24,000 views, and everybody was like, yes, this is the future, because nobody's saying that the future is optimistic. The media is saying the future is pessimistic. Right. So to answer your question it depends on your state of mind and what you want to say.
I happen to agree with you. First of all, I need to work out more, but when I do work out, I enjoy working out at the gym. Although I must say that since COVID has begun, I've been a little bit addicted to the Peloton and to running. And some of the friends that I have and that I've spoken with, they are saying at the moment that it's really not something they plan on going back to the gym anytime soon.
Well, the gym, to me, it's been a part of my life since I was a teenager. And I've always said, if I don't get my regular routine in at the gym, I'm going to catch a cold, I'm going to get sick. So I think what Cuoco is saying is 100% correct. There is a feeling of, I'm going to be more healthy if I work out. I'm going to sweat the bad stuff out. Mm-hmm. It's interesting from my perspective. looking at some of the gyms in the area where I live, which gyms will make it? The gyms, what changes will they have to make so that the public perceives that they're safe there? Because I'm not going to name names, of course, but I've always gone to an old school gym. It's all metal and mirrors, and it's filthy. But part of the allure is the bodybuilding that goes on there, the weights climbing together, the social aspect of it. And I don't know if that kind of gym is going to be the gym of the future.
Well, you know, I of course I want to ask Cuoco this, but I would think that you're going to need to design in a way where you do have some more social distance between some equipment, some people. Is that true?
Woo! Well, there's two things. There's short-term and long-term. So coming out of this, I've been blogging about this, that gym owners everywhere, all the gyms are disinfecting their gyms and bleaching everything, bleaching the life. No sustainable earthly life can be in the gyms. And they're calling that quits. That's as much as they're doing. We've cleaned our gym, they're steam cleaning and so on and so forth. And I think that's a good perception to give to the public. So in regards to the long term, I think it's all going to go back to what it was. Maybe it'll take 12 months. After the election, everything will change, of course. Everyone knows this. And might take a year for people to get back into the zone of the gym. And I think what on the design side, gym owners can do temporarily, dedicate a section of their gym to what's called functional training. So now let's take a legacy gym that we were talking about, where it was all this equipment. Maybe you take a third of your gym, if you have all of this exercise equipment, you put down AstroTurf. There's no equipment, no one gets to touch it. You do kettlebells, push-ups, sprints, things of that nature. So maybe in the short term, you change your equipment in your gym, you take out some of the equipment that people have access to, and just do, for example, as the images you're showing, some workout areas. But in time, I think you're going to have a mixture of both. You're going to go back to the legacy gyms that has all the equipment, and then you're going to have these new gyms, and I'm doing a lot of them, which are open areas where people do what's called functional training, or HIIT, HIIT training.
We see an awful amount of neon lights in your design.
I use,
what is that?
I use everything. I use, well, that's the trick. That's why some of the images, when you look at these images, you know, and I don't take credit for it, it's the developers who invest in it. I use everything. I use LED, I use neon, I use low voltage, I use incandescent, I use fluorescent, I use branded color, RGBW. I use often, sometimes some of these gyms you're looking at have 7 different lighting fixtures that are all doing something different. So lighting is very tricky. It's what amplifies the look and makes the gym look, stand out. Wow, these pictures are nice. It's funny, I look at these as a viewer now, and I'm like, hey, these are nice gyms.
Well, are you using that lighting just to make the gym different than other gyms, or is there a motivation that comes? Like, you go into a nightclub, you see lights and music and strobes, and you're moving. Does the lighting help with that regard?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there is some sort of kinetic energy you get out of the lighting if you can do some interesting things with the lighting. But for me, design isn't like, I don't consider myself an interior designer. I consider myself, and I'm trained as an interior designer. I taught in New York City. I consider myself a conceptual designer. So I look at the gyms as sort of a stage set. And so we create these spaces, and we use branded colors and architectural elements that integrate with the lighting. So there's a lot of layers. It's hard to put into words, you know, how I do it and what I do. But it's not one thing, it's multiple layers. And if I can get 7 or 9 layers of lighting into a facility, I mean, you look at the lighting in some of these pictures, but it's not only the lighting, it's the materials, it's the architectural geometry, it's the shape of the space, it's the fixtures. There's, again, layers and layers of details in sort of these brands that I'm working with.
There's no question, but you know, the lighting is the first thing that kind of pops out at me when I look at it. The untrained person just looking at a gym, to me, it's, I see the lighting first before I see the shapes and the elements that go in there. They're just stunning. They're unlike any gym
Thanks.
I have ever been in. Without naming names, I've been to the typical gyms for the most part, not the ones that Marc's been to, because as Marc says, his is real more like a steel and mirror sort
yeah,
of
that's okay.
Your design is not institutional. I would say it's not an institutional gym with just a black floor and some mirrors. There's life in your gyms.
Yeah. And that's funny that actually, I'm sorry, Coco, please go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What I was saying is, Marc's saying that your design, there's life, then that's the same sort of thing that we try to do with our flooring.
Yeah.
We don't want to be this typical flooring company that has the same black gym flooring, the recycled rubber gym flooring that everybody else has. We love to use color. We love to use
put some of your, and that's why I went to you guys, because I'm looking right now at your tables, and again, that's why I went to you.
This is just a small sampling. Alan's going to grab the live camera and go over to our light box and switch over right now to give you an idea of some of the colors and designs and looks that we have when we design gyms. And we work with various designers and architects around the country, in fact, around the world. And what Alan's looking at right this very second is a product called Prism, which is an EPDM rubber with cork crumbs. And the cork crumbs has some advantage to it, not just for sound dampening and for slip resistance, but it's a really cool look too. And again, something that you haven't seen much is a product called Rubberazzo. It's a rubber floor made to look exactly like terrazzo. So and we're fortunate enough to be able to be working with you on a project right now where we did a custom sample for you, which I believe just got approved. I'm looking forward to seeing the purchase order come in on that.
Yeah. It's taking time because the economy and real estate and financing, everything is kind of all over the place. But it's gonna happen. I just got a text from him today, and we're working on another one. And again, why you called me in and why I'm working with you is you have these products that are differentiated, and that's very important.
We're kind of running alongside you in our thought process. We don't want to look like everybody else, and we work with higher quality products. You mentioned a few minutes ago, design materials maybe are changing. We work with EPDM rubber. It's not made from recycled car tires, and there's no odor. There's no odor that has to dissipate for the first 3 weeks or 3 months when it's first laid down. So we're working with healthy product, and then we have things like cork that's naturally antimicrobial, and we have products for locker rooms that are woven vinyl that can be wet and be easily cleaned even with bleach and water. So we work with different materials also, but the key is we like to look for things that we don't see everywhere, things that get us excited. And we think by looking at some of your work that we have some similar thinking.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, we do think alike, and as I said when we first started this broadcast, that I've been following you on Instagram for literally for years, and I think if it wasn't for Marc sending out a little care package to you, we may not be talking today. But we do that.
I would have found you because I'm making an effort to search out. I would have found you eventually, one way or the other.
It looks like you're sitting in front of a whole variety of finishes. Is that what you're sitting in front of? It's hard.
Yeah, they're. I actually, it's funny. One of I'm not going to say it's my expertise, but one of my efforts is to really source innovative finishes and materials. And so you can see behind me, there's just a cornucopia of all kinds of interesting things. And as I said, I would have found you out because I'm always searching for these different products for, the branding. I'm really big on the branding and the innovation of mixing materials and colors. And so that's why I love you guys, because your materials are in the same sort of narrative in my mind of what needs to be done, at least on the fitness side.
Well, I'm a little curious about something. You went to design school, but before that, did you start out as a gym rat? Were you a trainer? Were you in gyms a lot? How did you choose that specific field?
It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? I was actually I trained design. I taught design in New York City at the New York School of Interior Design, and when I got out, a few years later, I started getting involved with weightlifting and getting into exercise. And I was in a gym in New York City, which will go unnamed. There, it's still a big brand, internationally. And I was in the gym, and I was there, and this was 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. And I was in the gym, and it was like I looked up, and I was like, "This gym is terrible. Maybe I can do some design." So what I did is I started marketing to the fitness industry, and my first customer was the gym. It was so funny because it wasn't planned, but the gym that I was training in, they were my first customer, and I did a big gym for them in New York City, and that's how I got involved on the fitness side.
So I assume you started by doing things that you would like because you were still working out or training there. So are there, obviously we talked a little bit about light and color, but what do you think that you're doing that makes you so unique in your approach to design, not just to make the gym look pretty, but to make it, well, you said functional earlier, but to give it that pep that people want to go in there and start getting into it?
Well, you know what? It came down to I faced a lot of resistance in the gym industry, in the fitness industry, when I first came in because I was an outsider. And so there was this fiefdom. I'm sure you know what a fiefdom is. It's like the uncle, the king runs the castle, and his brother gets to run this province, and his brother-in-law gets to run this. And so within the fitness industry, there was a whole fiefdom, and they wouldn't let me in. I was an outsider, and everybody was staying with their own network. So I said, like Barbara Corcoran, when she wanted to get into real estate, she said in New York City, the good old boys wouldn't let her in, so she jumped over them. And so I took that. I said, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And so I went back and I repositioned myself, and I studied the gym industry. And I realized there were two types of gyms that all the gyms were building. And they were, Marc, the gym that you go to, what I call the 1.0 gyms, which are gyms that look like gyms. And they're all the same. If it's a franchise or a $10 gym or a legacy gym, you know what it looks like. Sea of fitness equipment, black rubber, a stripe on the wall, bodybuilding posters, and motivational slogans, and everybody was doing that. Or what they were doing is they were trying to copy the boutique hotel. And it's a lovely look. I mean, like Equinox and Soul Cycle, they all had this boutique design aesthetic. But what was happening for the gym owners, they were faced with one or the other. And so where I sort of position myself is to educate the people that I was speaking with, the gym developers, that don't do a gym that looks like another gym, and don't do a gym that looks like another boutique hotel. What you need to do is differentiate yourself from those two different styles. And I came up with this idea to create conceptual gyms that didn't look like the muscle gyms or the boutique hotel gyms. And that's how I started.
So these conceptual gyms, are you picking the brains of designers at all? Are you consulting with them?
Hey, I cast no aspersions on my contemporaries.
Did I say designer? I didn't mean designers. I'm sorry. I meant trainers. Are you picking the brains of the trainers at all?
Or the developers? It's a mutual thing. And again, let me back up and reel that back in. I wasn't saying anything. I wasn't being cynical of the design industry at large, sure, because creativity comes from inside. So I don't look at other designers. I don't go on the internet and look at what other designers do. They come and look at me, but I don't look at them. Where I'm going with this is, when I meet a developer, I show them, I said, listen, you want to look like a gym, or do you want to look like another boutique hotel? And it's caught on. They're saying, I don't want to look like either one of those styles. I want to have my own concept, my own brand. And so what we go is we do a competitive analysis of all the gyms in their marketplace. We look at the gyms, what they're doing, and we always find it either looks like a gym, a muscle gym, or it looks like a boutique hotel. And so we come up with concepts of what their gym might look like. And again, it comes from the owner. I only facilitate the design, and sometimes they're inspired by a Hollywood movie, or it's a book, or they love, military vehicles or whatever, spaceships. And so all our designs are inspired by non-fitness inspirations. Done.
Well,
No, it's interesting, and it allows obviously for a lot of creativity, and that obviously floats your boat. And you've done a heck of a job, as people can see from the short amount of images that we're showing. And I guess what I'd like to ask of you is, when you're helping these owners, and they're thinking primarily of where their weight equipment's going to be, where their exercise equipment's going to be, they may not necessarily be thinking about the rest of the gym, the entryway, the locker rooms. And I guess you have to help them determine that they may need different types of, because we're in the business, of course, of flooring, that they may need different types of flooring in different areas. And then obviously you have to go find what pieces work together to complete the whole space, not just the workout area.
Right.
Yeah.
So are there different things that you're looking for since COVID hit, or do you think this is going to end and let's just do good design?
No, it's always about good design. You know, I'm a very resilient type of character. Like many people, I've had a lot of obstacles, and I grind the obstacles down. I don't let them grind me down. So this whole COVID thing and this lockdown thing, to me, it's inconsequential. It has no influence, no fear, no determination of what my future is going to be. And I'm focused. I have more work now than I did pre-COVID. It's amazing.
Wow.
These jobs from all over the world, South America and Asia. I can't say where they are because I have non-disclosures. I'm more busy now than I ever was before, because people who are optimistic and visionary and what I call forward-leaning know that they have to come into the marketplace after the lockdown with new concepts. You can't go back with a gym that's been sanitized and you open the doors, it's the same gym. You have to seduce the consumer into like new concept, new ideas, new ways of doing things. And I always comment on saying that my objective is to help the gym owner shift a consumer impression of what a gym experience could be. So the idea is it's not the gym owner I'm working with. I'm working to get the gym owner to think about the consumer, to get the consumer seduced by a new concept. And when they walk into some of these spaces, they like, I've never seen a gym like this before. What do you guys do? And so it opens up the sales process for the sales team to take over and say, well, let us show you what we do. And so, you know, it's an attempt to seduce consumers to buy into your brand, and also to shift consumer expectations of what a fitness experience could be. That's what I do.
You know, it's funny. I'm sitting here as you're speaking, and Alan is flashing some of the images on the screen. I'm seeing some of these images for the first time. You know, there's a screen right up there against the wall, and I'm looking at them saying, wow, these are beautiful, you know, and I haven't seen them all. And I know that if I were looking for some new gym now, I would definitely be strongly interested in a space like that.
Well, and people are changing, and the younger generation is not looking for the 1.0 gym that you talked about.
No. That
I remember from when I was a teenager and stuck with out of habit, maybe, or because that's where my friends were. I think younger people today are blending. They're not bodybuilders per se. They're fitness people. They want to exercise with their friends.
Yeah.
They're not just looking to put on a headset and get their training in and then go and then leave. So I see a big difference in the environment where you're building a business, and you need to draw some younger people in who are going to stay with you a long time, as opposed to people like me who are just trying to get their workout and get their time in and be done.
Yeah. So
your design, I think, flares well towards that younger generation who's going to be around longer than I am, and is important for the current state of gym ownership.
Yeah, you've got to look at it's always about the consumer. It's always B2C. And so when I work with the developers, you know, I tell them, you know, put away what you like. It's not what you like. It's not what you design, what other gyms you like. I say, don't start looking at other gyms. You don't want to use their color schemes. You don't want to use their material. You don't want to use your lighting. I said, stop doing what you think you like, and let's work and come up with something that we think the consumers will be seduced into.
Yeah, we talked about some of the rubber product. We talked about that we have woven vinyl for locker rooms and cork, et cetera, et cetera. We also have very unusual carpet products that
Yeah.
standing and fitting and are easy to take care of.
Yeah.
And don't hold odor because they're so
I like
flat.
that one. Send me a sample of that.
You'll
Hold
get
little.
it.
But they're so flat and tight that they don't hold the sweat and the
Yeah,
germs. You don't want a plush carpet that's going to hold liquid.
Well, this isn't nylon. This is
recycled from plastic bottles.
Right. So
Nice.
water does not penetrate this. So it does, there's no odor. Sometimes you go into some gyms and you can get that musty odor from sweat because carpet is a textile.
Yeah, they have plush carpet that's too
Yeah,
plush.
and when people are sweating, they get off the treadmill or whatever they do, and they're dripping into the carpet. That becomes a very musty, stinky little odor. This is not the case with a product like this because it's not your typical carpet for your not so typical
And where I was going was we have things that are of color that work in different environments. And even when we talk about turf,
Hold that up.
yeah, we have planks that make for
This is
unusual and contemporary space.
this is again not your typical carpet product.
Right.
And very low tight pile so that it can work in that environment. And then we looked at our turf and we thought, well, our turf can work in gyms. And then we learned our turf wasn't really for gyms. Our turf wasn't dense and strong enough for somebody to push a sled over or to run with it. Our turf we had was fluffy and decorative and pretty, but not necessarily functional.
I know all of those. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, these are some of the the turfs that we have that are incredibly strong, where you can push sleds over it, really stand up. And they're we do everything we can with color. That's really how we differentiate ourselves between the quality and the color.
Can you slide the bottom piece open to show Cuoco something?
Sure.
We even made one that looked like wood. And we have other products that look like wood but are not wood. And we do that for a reason. People
I want a sample of that.
Yep, you'll get it. People today, they like the look of wood, the warmth of wood, but wood's not functional in a gym. It's going to indent. It's going to be noisy.
Sure.
You fall down, you're going to get hurt pretty badly. So we took a wood look with a rubber back. And it doesn't indent so easy. It's got a PSI of 1280.
Some of the designers that are out there, Cuoco, they design for the looks, but not for the performance. And I have been to a very high-end hotel gym in the, Columbus Circle area. I'm not going to get into it.
I know.
But I bet you do. I bet you do. And you walk into this.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous, except you could see every indentation in their wood floor from everything. They're dropping weights on it. The equipment moves. People even in high heels, when they first walk in, are indenting it. So it was all about looks, but it wasn't about functionality. It wasn't about performance at all.
Yeah, we think both directions.
What the real estate developers, the vertical market, they're really good. They're very cost conscious, but all they do is they hire their. I've met with some of them. They hire their interior designer of their lobbies and their rooms and their public spaces. Okay, do the gym, and then what ends up happening is it looks like the lobby, and it looks like the public spaces. And so I just have this client in Mexico City. I'm doing 2 projects, residential vertical towers. And they called us and they said, we don't want, because I blog about, don't make your gym like your lobby. You want your gym to be exciting and kinetic and have energy and be amplified and be a fitness environment. You can do beautiful things, but don't make it look like your lobby. You look like a boutique hotel. And they saw my post about that and they hired me. I'm doing 2 gyms for them. So, yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a great look of the hotel, the boutique design look. But in a fitness area, what you want to do is you want to inspire people and excite them to exercise because it's hard enough to get them to do it in the first place. So, this gym is amazing. This place is amazing.
Yeah, the most interesting thing that you've taught me today is that gym owners don't have to be pessimistic. There is light at the end of this tunnel. People are going to work out. They're going to want to be healthy. And there's a big future in gyms. And I think prior to speaking with you today, I guess with all the news you watch, my mind would have gone the other way. And I would have thought, I wonder if gyms are going to be able to make it.
This is not the first.
It's great hearing this.
This is a terrible thing, but it's not the first pandemic we've had where there's This too will pass. It will take a while. This one's hitting home.
Well,
Terrible situation worldwide, but this will pass, and people will get back to life again as soon as we can clean up their area, get a vaccination, a virus vaccination that works.
A lot of designers would be smart, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't want to lose the thought.
Yeah.
A lot of designers would be smart to listen to what Cuoco is saying, not just about gym design, but all design. The world's not coming to an end, so let's go do our thing.
Yeah, well, unfortunately,
Yeah, I mean,
a lot
the
of people have to
hospitality and I'm sorry, the hospitality industry has a lot of good. I like what they do. I actually come from the hospitality industry. I was designing one of the hottest restaurants in Meatpacking District in New York City. I actually went to Paris, and I would design one of the hottest bars in Paris. So I was in the hospitality industry. I know the industry. There's a lot of good work in there. So there's a huge future. And again, I just advise people stop looking at what your competitors and what everybody else is doing and looking at, boutique hotel design magazines and boutique hotel trade shows, because you're just going to replicate the elements and put it together differently. So just, be innovative.
Well, you are definitely innovative, and we think you're very special, and we'd like to take this opportunity to thank you again for being part of our show. You are definitely a great guest, and we may actually ask you if it'd be all right with you to come back again in the future.
Yeah, we
join
love
us.
Yeah. We'll do some shows of your products in my clients' gyms, and if your people want to follow me, it's on Instagram, Gym Designer, one word.
That's right, Gym Designer. And then we also have your website, which is called fitnesscenterdesign.com. Yeah, there it is right on the screen.
I love your products. That's why I'm on your show.
Well, thank you. And we love you, and we love your support. So anyway, thank you very much. And let's talk about our upcoming show. Thank you, Cuoco.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So next week, we are going to be speaking about home design, working from home, residential design, things that are changing, at least for the short term. There are less people working in the office. We could be home more, and people need to consider fixing up parts of their homes.
And not just working from home, but most people know Summit because of the great products we have for commercial and contract work and hospitality and office and retail space. And I think fewer people know that we have some phenomenal residentially oriented products. So we're going to highlight a few of those and show people what do they say? The softer side of Summit.
Is there a soft side of Summit? Anyway, so next week it'll be again me and Marc hosting the show. Alan Smith has become an amazing director, and we thank him for all the work he does behind the screen. If you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to reach us at info@summit-flooring.com or call us at 877-496-3566, which, by the way, and I'm sure the people in this office do not even know this, in the studio do not even know this. If you take 496-3566 and you drop one letter off it, it spells gym floor. 1-877 gym floor.
I'm the only one here that knew that.
Oh, you did know that?
Yeah.
I don't remember telling you that.
Long time ago.
Anyway, thank you again, everybody, for joining us. This is a work in progress. We're getting great reviews, and we thank you. Again, if you have any questions, make sure we know about it. We look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Thank you very much. Stay well and be healthy.
Bye-bye.